ce soir à la Sucrière avec Electro Sound Radio. On va aller tout de suite rencontrer Noize pour une interview exclusive.
Come with me. Do you remember? Come with me. Do you remember?
So the first part of the interview is typical question for your career, your production. If I'm right, you started to produce and mix very young. So,
that's right.
How did you start to mix, and what's your motivation at this moment?
I was around 13, 14 years old when I started to buy a lot of vinyl, and at that time I was buying a lot of music that I knew from my older brother when I was a child, because he was listening to those very early house records, you know, like Steve Sircali and a lot of like Trax records and stuff like that. And when I started to buy records, I was trying to find that music I knew, and so I ended up being in a record shop every day, and I discovered so much more than that, and I got really addicted in the whole kind of vinyl world because it was a way to listen to music that no one else was listening to.
Alright, so you made your own culture in the shop, and now your talent have paid. You were nominated 3 times in Best Electronic Artist of the Year. What did you feel at this moment? What did you expect after this performance?
To be honest, when I won the Beatport prizes, I didn't really feel anything because I was a bit like, alright, it's Beatport, but I don't know if it's for me the most important is when my other like producer friends like my music, you know, if Mr. Noize tells me this is great, then I'm so happy, or like...
You prefer the feedbacks of artists? Or
yeah, that for me is way more important than any other like
So your first production were seen on Kitsune or Chopper Recordings, but in 2005 you created your own label. Why it's a real need to make the things to your way, or something different?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I definitely wanted to do things my way, but also the reason why I started the label was to just release my own music whenever I want. I had so many tracks laying around. I had like 20 or 30 tracks that I wanted to put out, and so the first 5 releases on my label were basically my own, with different names and projects like Einzeller, East West, musique, Noize. That was all me, you know.
Yes.
But just with different names, and so that was the plan at first, and then shortly after I discovered so many other young producers that were really talented, and I thought it would be great to put it out for the people as well.
Alright, so you were looking for some independence and...
Basically, yeah, I mean, well, it's, you know, it was more to, you know, have a platform for my own music and release it whenever I want, yeah.
Okay, so after that, in 2010, you made your first album.
2007.
7, yes, sorry. And this is not a format very common for electronic artists. Why you wanted to make an album and not some release?
Well, I mean, you know, I was just at that time in 2006 when I basically made all the tracks. I just, again, I had so many tracks, and my first album was more like a collection of bangers I had ready and that I was playing out, and you know, I think making an album is, speaking of myself, is more something you want to do for yourself and not for the people, because as you say, like right now it's the worst times for album. No one is... Yeah, no one does have really the time to listen to everything. You know, you can make a full DJ career out of one big track and tour with it the whole world. So when I made the new album, I just wanted to make something for myself again as well.
And now you're playing all around the world. You're playing at Electro Music Festival, And in the DVD, Fede Legrand said you are one of the most respected artists, ready to take all the risks to rock people. Is it a good description for you?
I feel very humble when he was saying that. Yeah, those really nice words, because it is true. Taking the risks always is a difficult thing. Sometimes it doesn't work right away, and it takes a while. But as a DJ, for me the most important thing is to try out new things and bring new music for the people. And of course, period, I like to rock any party and make the people crazy. Of course, you maybe see me one, two times. But every time I play, I try out so many new records at the same time. Every week I buy new music. Every day I get to send new music from friends or from other producers on my label. And for me, it's always been fun to test those records in the club and be the first to test it. And there's not many DJs who do that. The most of the time the DJs, they look at other DJs and they see, okay, if this DJ plays it, I can play it now too. But I think I have to do it, because otherwise I would get bored and there's no progress.
So now you are a new album, a new tour tonight in Lyon. What are your other projects for the future? Maybe a mixtape for Electro Sound Radio?
Maybe, yeah. Right now my period is really on this live show I'm doing. It's a different thing. Before I was DJing everywhere all the time, all my life, and now it's the first time I'm playing live, performing my own music, and it's a total different approach. It's like a concert where a band plays their own songs, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm performing my own songs, and it's a very amazing production as well, and I'm controlling a lot of things. So it's a different thing, and it's very exciting for me to do this.
So you are controlling music, but also video.
Yeah. I was thinking, right now the perspective of a DJ kind of changed in the last few years. It's not so much about the music anymore. Unfortunately, it become more and more an entertainment, and a lot of times I go somewhere and you see those crazy LED walls, but it's also random things that are, it's just like whatever on the LED walls. And so I was looking at old concerts from Kraftwerk and stuff like this, and I really like the way that it's really minimal and synced to the music, and it becomes one thing.
It's a one show.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to do. To try as well.
And for you, who is the legend of electronic music, and who is the young talent, the next big stars?
Well, there's so many legends, I think. Starting with Daft Punk, of course. They're my heroes as well. Mr. Oizo is a living legend for me. And then there's a lot of US guys, even Jeff Mills or Derek May or Richie Houghton. I always love this. There's a lot of people that influence a lot of things that I really like. And right now, I think there's this young guy I signed called Scientist.
Scientist, yes.
Yeah, he's very talented. We work on his album right now. That's gonna be out in next year.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's really good. Look out for this guy.
We're reading that.
Cool.
For the second part, it's more question than funniest, I hope.
Yeah.
So answer what you have in mind when I ask. And for the first, what do you do of your days off when you are not working?
Most of the time I'm in Berlin in my free time. I have a dog, so I like to go out with my dog in the woods, in the forest, and just don't think about anything.
So relax.
Yeah, exactly. Relax your mind, because every day, you sit on the computer, like the Mac, the iPhone, the iPad, and it's all like screens. So to relax your mind, I think is very important for me too.
And what is your favorite place all around the world? The place where you want it to be everywhere?
My bed.
Why not? And what are you singing in the shower?
Singing?
Yes. You're not singing?
No, I'm not singing. I never sing.
Alright.
I let my robots sing, you know.
Alright. Do you like Chinese food?
Yeah, I love Chinese food.
Alright.
Definitely more like South Chinese, like.
Okay. So, what is the weirdest things that a fan gave you?
The weirdest thing. I've seen people crying. That was very
During a show?
emotional. Yeah, like so happy to cry, you know. That was pretty awesome. But yeah, I mean, I've seen people tattooing the label, B&R label logo with the two people on the skin, like big time and stuff like that.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
What do your parents think about your music?
They think it's okay.
Yes.
I mean, you know, my mother listens more to like whatever, like real music, and I always have to explain it. Well, it's what I do is music too. But no, I think that it's okay.
Alright.
Yeah.
And what is the song on your iPod that you don't assume? It's something that you're hiding.
Oh, like a guilty
Yes.
pleasure kind of thing. Oh, it's off.
Maybe something old tracks or something vintage.
Yeah, I mean, I like pop music, you know, I like old, I don't know, George Michael or whatever, Phil Collins, I don't know.
That's music too.
Yeah, it's music too, yeah.
And for the last question, what is the worst question of the interview for you?
The worst of this interview?
You can see this question. Maybe.
I think it's what's the worst question of this interview.
Thanks a lot.
Cool.
And it was a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Enchanté. Au revoir.